today we have r/relationships. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel because I really want to get to 100 subscribers as soon as possible. The first story is by Soda Girl. I am thinking of breaking off my engagement with my fiancé after one day. Me and my boyfriend/fiancé have been together for almost 4 years. We met in college, graduated together, and have lived in 3 cities together with our 2 shared cats. We spend most of our time together and have a pretty good relationship for the most part. We have the same values and he's a great guy. In November, he decided he was ready to propose. We talked about what I wanted in a ring and he thought I was asking for too much. I said I would rather we wait until we could feel financially confident. I didn't want the engagement to have anything to do with money. I have money insecurity due to my childhood. We make very good money now and are not struggling. I'm a farm rep and he's an engineer. I wanted the engagement to be a happy thing, not a thing we have to argue and be upset about. I make a decent bit more currently, so I suggested pitching in and he didn't like the idea. He also didn't want to wait either, so we compromised on the ring and I felt okay with the choice. Flash forward to Thanksgiving, we were looking at rings with his family jeweler and mom. The rings that he was showing were the rings I originally wanted. I was so excited and figured he was okay with it. Right after the appointment, he started talking about money and that I should have picked the cheaper option. Even though he agreed on the ring I picked in the store, he didn't say it specifically, but I think since his mom was there, he didn't want to say anything to seem more well off. My birthday is on New Year's, so for my birthday this year he got me a trip to a popular weekend getaway spot in April, which is kind of weird now to get me a trip 4 months in advance when I think about it, but regardless. But I knew it was where he was planning on proposing. In January, his best friend proposed to his girlfriend. It was a very last-minute proposal and we decided to help him propose. We met at the spot and took pictures on our phones, gave her flowers, etc. It was very cute and very them. During that, I felt very uncomfortable being there. I feel a proposal is a very intimate and they were his friends. On the car ride home, we spoke about our proposal and I said, please don't have them come. I wanted it to be just us. We had spoke about wanting a photographer before, so I figured he would do that. I really gave him complete free rein. Besides that, I did not expecting something huge. The weeks to come were rough for us, we were fighting, and I couldn't stop snapping at him and he couldn't lay off of me. I was having severe doubts about our relationship. I asked him that, he pushed back our engagement because all I wanted was to be happy during this time. I struggle with pretty severe depression and I just wanted a happy engagement. Coming up to the trip, I knew it was coming anyways. He had lunch with my dad and it was extremely obvious. I had a ton of anxiety about it. My intuition that he didn't listen to me was so loud and I was crying in my car on the way to work the day before because I just knew. I told him I was too anxious to go and wanted to stay home. I was talking about not having the right clothes, weather being bad, etc. to try and give him the hint because he definitely knew I knew. He insisted that we had to go, that the room was unrefundable, and we would figure something out. So the proposal was everything I asked for it not to be. Not only were his friends there, but he literally copied and pasted his friend's proposal, even down to what he said, which was, I had a whole thing written out, but I'm so nervous, but I love you, marry me. I said yes, and his friends were there. He immediately went over to his friend. I tried so hard to ignore it, but my face said it all in the pictures his friends took, and his girlfriend knew I was upset. The first thing he said to me was sorry after he saw my face. He said he didn't want to spend the money on photographer and ran out of time. I learned later my mom had offered a photographer for us as she's in the industry, but he said he had it covered. He knew he messed up. I wasn't mad I didn't have a spectacular proposal. I was mad because I got specifically what I didn't ask for. I got a copy and paste proposal. I got money involved when I said I could wait and to push it back. I gave him a way out to change things beforehand, but he pushed it forward. He did not put any thought into it at all. He said, I had a whole thing I wanted to say, but I'm anxious, but didn't in reality because I asked. And that being word for word what his friend said 2 months prior. What hurt the most is I asked him how did he think I was going to react, and he said he didn't think about it. I do not understand. I would hope that the person that was asked for me to love them and them love me the rest of our lives would have thought about how I would have reacted. I seriously don't understand why he didn't just wait. Looking back at everything, the whole thing was incredibly selfish. I do everything for him and I'm extremely hurt. The whole day was ruined. We both were extremely upset, and I'm currently at work crying typing this on my mobile 2 days later. This is supposed to only happen once in our lives, and he did not even consider for a second my feelings. My intuition is flaming at me to leave. On the other hand, he feels bad. He has cried about what he did and said he wishes he could go back and do it again. He said he wants to go to couples therapy and fix this and will make it up to me. I think this whole situation gave me the clarity I needed to leave, like the last straw. This is the most dramatic thing ever in my life, and I am not a dramatic person. But I don't know if I should stay and work on this or just bite the bullet. Pictures are posted and everything, so this is going to be a nightmare if I decide to end it. He wanted pictures posted. I just know my heart is actually broken and I don't know how to handle it. I wanted to post here and get insights because obviously there are not a ton of people I can talk to about this. I talked with my best friend and she's furious at him. I know he hasn't spoken to anyone about it. My therapy appointment isn't until tomorrow, but I'm considering getting a hotel for a week and letting myself cool down. But I don't know if I should. Any opinions or insights are appreciated, but hopefully you guys aren't too mean to me. I think OP is making this proposal too much about herself. And I think that maybe this one is a bit an overreaction. Maybe a couples therapy the fiancé offered is a very good idea. But what do you guys think? The next story is by Dangerous Eye 3714. I moved for work. What do? Background. My wife is an immigrant. Back in 2021, her whole family starts immigrating and moving in with us. Parents-in-law, sisters-in-law, uncles. After a few months of this, I start to feel suffocated. Things would happen like someone would take my shampoo and I would ask for it back, and my mother-in-law would yell at me for stealing my own shampoo back. Unfortunately, my salary isn't enough for us to get a house of our own. My wife did not work at the time, she was studying. I get offered a job in 2021, out of state, 50% salary increase, good work-life balance. She's reluctant and asks me multiple times if I had to choose between the job and her, what I would choose. I didn't know what to say and I feel like an absolute silly kitty for that. I was just so miserable living in that environment, and this job was such a good opportunity. Think a company like Google. But eventually I didn't have to choose because she decided she would move with me. I found her a similar program to continue her studies while living with me. I also rented an apartment in the city so she could go to clubs, which she likes. Anyway, she stays for 2 months and then in September of 2021 leaves to go to a concert with her family and never comes back, abandoning her studies. She wanted a house in her hometown, so I bought her a house. I also pay the mortgage on the first house where her parents are living. I visit her about once a month, but will probably up the frequency because I feel guilty. She visits me about twice a year. She got a stable job in November of 2022 after occasional contracts every few months prior to that. I probably won't leave my job yet because I do get a pension after 5 years and we are also planning to buy a house in this new state. Something I wouldn't be able to do with lesser salary back in hometown. She occasionally talks about moving back with me, but I don't know what she wants to do. If she doesn't move back with me after 5 years, I will move back with her. Admittedly, I am afraid of being suffocated again, but I don't want to be egotistical. So here are my questions. How much of a horrible person am I for having acted this way in the first place? Besides looking for a job in hometown and visiting her weekly or every other week, what else can I do? I call her multiple times a day and dedicate about an hour a day to do things to help her and her family. Is it a good idea to take the leap and leave this job to go back somewhere that suffocated me? You are not a horrible person at all. You sound like a fantastic partner, very supportive, and I think you have to communicate with your wife more. Maybe try couples therapy? What do you guys think? Would you call OP a horrible person? The next story is by Throwaway5512. My girlfriend barely talks or engages in group settings and it is ruining our relationship. I'll try to make this short because I'm just looking for a simple advice. Just as the title says, my girlfriend of 4 years hardly speaks up or engages in group settings. She has a very high levels of social anxiety due to a super conservative Christian upbringing. She's no longer Christian, but there's a lot she's still unpacking. And that is a factor for sure, but after 4 years, not much has changed, despite her making solid attempts at improving her social skills. I should also mention that she doesn't really have any friends beside one who lives many states away. The reason this is ruining our relationship is because I really dread going out and seeing friends and family with her. All the social pressure falls squarely on me. I feel embarrassed for myself in the way that we do not complement each other in social situations. I tend to be more energetic and talkative. I try to overcompensate for her lack of social engagement by complimenting her, trying to pump her up, trying to prompt her to elaborate on things. But even after all this time and several conversations we've had specifically about this issue, the change has been so incremental that it's hard to notice. I'm somebody who, while also socially anxious, is definitely spontaneous and a people person. It sucks to dread going to do things that I would normally enjoy to do on my own. I feel like a lot of time in group settings, I can connect more interpersonally with complete strangers than I can with my own girlfriend. Even my parents tell me that it seems like she's not even with us when having family dinners. That really stung to me. I think a lot of this stayed kind of under the radar during a relationship because we mostly dated during COVID, where we weren't seeing a ton of people and we were in our own little world. My girlfriend has a real personality, sense of humor, and passion for things, but the only one who gets to see that is me, and behind closed doors. I really wish that we complemented each other more in front of people, and despite many attempts to improve and change, I'm starting to have doubts that I'll ever see the progress that I'm hoping for. Since we are 4 years in and the idea of marriage has been on the table, I am starting to feel the burn that this will be the rest of my life if we don't make a major change or break up. I obviously don't want to hurt her or lose the person who's been closest to me for nearly half a decade, But I also know that I don't think I can live with somebody who can't support me or compliment me when we're outside of the house. I know this has to do a lot with her childhood upbringing, and as much as I'm trying to be empathetic, I feel as if I'm at a breaking point. Any advice would be very helpful. Thanks for taking the time. I think that you are being not empathetic, but egoistic. Because if your girlfriend is clearly having a social anxiety, you cannot force her be more social. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Thank you for listening. Please like the video, subscribe for more. You can also watch this awesome video or that awesome playlist. See you next time.